Hi, I'm Greg Munden from Munden Ventures and Kamloops. Thanks for joining me today. The reading of our blog on how our ELD and telematics system paid back in 7 days. So if you're like most Canadian trucking companies and you haven't already done so, you're probably considering which electronic logging device or ELD product to purchase ahead of the June 2021 ELD mandate. Of course, if you offer service to the US, you've already had to make this transition based on the US regulation coming in just recently in December of 2019. So, although not necessarily a given, many ELD companies are combining their systems with telematics, and that can provide trucking companies with a lot of data to better manage their business. I often hear concerns raised as I talk to trucking companies about moving to ELD systems and telematics systems because of the cost of the systems and their ability to afford implementing them, given the low margins that exist in trucking. In my mind, the payback in moving to these systems as soon as possible when you actually actively use the data is a no-brainer. For more information on things to consider when choosing an ELD supplier, I would invite you to check out my blog on the topic below. But in this blog, I want to offer up a recent example of how our telematics system can pay you back in as little as 7 days. So the log hauling industry is paid based on cycle times that are established for each haul, multiplied by the hourly rate, multiplied by the net weight of each load. It's a specialized sector operating in tough conditions, but it has many similarities to other hauling sectors, particularly when it comes to a portion of the rate being dependent on how much time it takes to unload at a customer's site. So for easy math, let's assume that an 8-axle log truck in Western Canada earns $150 an hour. Now for those of you in over-the-road work, that may sound like a great rate, but believe me, there's some real reasons log trucks have to earn $150 an hour or more. We were recently asked to start a haul going into a mill that was very short on log inventory and in jeopardy of shutting down as a result. They were bringing in additional contractors from far and wide to try and shore up this inventory, and they weren't really set up to handle a large influx of logging trucks unloading in the mill yard. Typically, rates allow for 30 minutes of unloading time within the calculated cycle time. Unfortunately, we were experiencing much longer unloading times, sometimes as long as 2 hours or more. Of course, the mill didn't feel that it could possibly be taking that long. Fortunately, all of our trucks are equipped with ELD and onboard telematics systems which gather all sorts of data about our truck activity for the day. And as a rule, we geofence all customer locations in order to accurately track the amount of time the customer takes to move our trucks through their yard. All sophisticated telematics systems should allow for geofencing of locations and routes, and that's something to talk to your ELD or potential ELD or telematics supplier about. Geofencing allows trucking companies to draw a box around a given location. So anytime one of your trucks enters the geo zone, the time is separately tracked and can be recorded out based on your needs. So I provided an example within the blog of a geofenced mill yard just to give you an idea of what a geofence looks like. As the mill challenged us about how long it was taking to unload at their site, it was extremely easy for us to produce a report summarizing the times our trucks were kept at the mill yard each trip. When we geofence a location, we also have the advantage of being able to include staging areas where trucks have to wait before they actually enter the site. And this information is most often not captured by customers who are attempting to track their unloading time. But it's very much a part of the time a customer ties up the drivers and the equipment at the mill. So in the case of sawmills, trucks are required to weigh in on scales as they enter the site and then weigh out as they leave, with both the weigh in and the weigh out times tracked by the customer time-stamped, giving them their apparent unloading time. Mills basing their yard time on this data alone are leaving out the staging time trucks are waiting in lineups before even reaching the scale to weigh in. As a result, our geofence report, which includes the staging area, is a much more accurate reflection of the true unloading time. Now below in the blog, if you read the blog, is a sample of the report that we were able to easily produce to provide the mill to renegotiate the unloading time allowed for in the cycle time. So in the end, we were able to provide the mill a detailed report of 72 loads in this case that we delivered to that site between December 1st and December 15th, and we could do it instantly. Our data showed an average yard time of 1 hour and 22 minutes. So compared to their allowance of 30 minutes in the rate, it was easy to demonstrate the significance of the issue. The mill agreed to increase our unloading time allowance to 1 hour and 20 minutes, which was a 50-minute increase, or 0.833 of an hour per load, or $125 per trip, which is calculated at $150 an hour times the 0.833 hours extra that it was taking. So at 2 trips per day per truck, this meant a daily rate increase of $250 per truck. We had 4 trucks on this haul, so this equated to $1,000 a day to our company. ELD telematics systems can obviously range widely in cost. In our case, we have an investment of about $1,200 per truck, plus a monthly cost of about $50 a truck. So at $250 per day additional in the rate, because of demonstrating the additional time for unloading, our entire purchase price of this system was repaid in 4.8 days for each truck, which is calculated at $1,200 initial investment divided by the $250 a day in additional rate increase, comes out to 4.8 days. Our total annual monthly subscription cost, which was, as I mentioned, about $50 a month at 12 months, is $600 a year. Those costs were recaptured from this one haul in an additional 2.4 days of hauling. So $600 annual cost divided by $250 a day is 2.4 days. So the payback in our entire upfront and annual costs for each truck on this haul was achieved in 7 days, 4.8 days plus 2.4 days for a total of 7.2 days. And a payback like that is obviously incredible by any measure. Even better, this meant we could ensure our professional log truck drivers were paid well for all of their time on this haul. In a trucking environment of high driver turnover, increasing difficulty in attracting new drivers to the industry, this system helps us to make sure our drivers are recognized for the time they put in and they remain the best paid in the industry. While we'd all prefer the mill simply solves the problem and the delays in unloading to meet their 30-minute target allowance, that remains out of our control. All we can do is try to ensure that our team is paid for their time. So this is just one example of how we've been able to share data out of our telematics system with our customer to support rate changes. There have been many others. Maybe not as significant as this one, but there's been countless examples of using this data to renegotiate our rates with our customers. In fact, prior to the implementation of a telematics system, it was common in our sector to have regular disagreements between log hauling companies and mills regarding cycle times, especially when trucking companies often lack data to support their position. We no longer have those disagreements because we're open in sharing our telematics data, and whether that's to our benefit or the mill's benefit. Our customers trust us and are very prepared to make sure cycle times are fair and achievable if we have good data to share. So if you're struggling to decide on whether to implement an ELD or telematics system or which one to choose, I invite you to read our other blogs on the topic, connect with me by email, which is included in the blog below, or give me a call at our office number 250-828-2821. Thanks a lot for joining us. I hope I was able to shed some light on how you might be able to make an ELD and telematics system payback for you.